And welcome back to part 5. Pretty sure it's part 5. I was double checking. Of What If Ichigo was part Saiyan? Last time on the Bleach What If, I'm used to saying either Dragon Ball or Naruto. Last time in the Bleach What If, Ichigo went toe-to-toe with Ulquiorra and really put the effort in. But the problem for him was, once Ulquiorra went to his first resurrection, it just wasn't enough. Ichigo couldn't keep up because he had already been fighting for an extended period of time. So he ultimately was defeated. Orihime did rescue him. He had his rematch with Grimmjow, which ended relatively quick, and even was able to take down Ulquiorra on his own. I cannot recall actually if I mentioned that in the last one, but yes, he would actually be able to take down Ulquiorra on his own. This leaves us in a very unique spot where basically Kyoto Stark stole Orihime, got him there. The Arrancar invasion of fake Karakura town happens, and we now catch up to there. Now, the most, if not all of the fake Karakura town stuff is going to go about the same. To a point. We'll get to where it changes in a little bit. But Ichigo, again, goes after Orihime. Ulquiorra, knowing that Ichigo is going to be coming, actually takes Orihime up above the ceiling of Las Noches. This is not going to be one of those scenarios where Ulquiorra lingers like he does in the original, waiting for him, because he's already fought Ichigo. He knows exactly how strong Ichigo is, or at least as strong as he thinks he is. And therefore, he's like, no. I'm in Resurrection from the get. And so he gets Orihime out there. Ichigo falls after him. And he transforms. Ichigo has his mask on, transforms into Super Saiyan. All right, Ulquiorra, let's do this. And they clash. And they clash hard. Blades to blades, lightsaber to Getsuga Tensho, Cero Obscura versus Getsuga Tensho. And honestly, they're, again, factoring in Zenkai's Ichigo would probably get, they're relatively on par with each other. If not, Ichigo is even maybe pushing him a little back. And Ulquiorra acknowledges this after some clashing. And they both kind of have some cuts, bruises, burns on them. They're relatively still good to go. Ulquiorra just looks at me. You're strong, Ichigo Kurosaki. You've even surpassed my power, if only barely. I'm sure if this fight continued, you may very well pull out a victory. So unfortunately, I can no longer play with. Unfortunately, I can no longer allow that. I cannot let you interfere with Lord Aizen's plans. It doesn't matter what you want. I will defeat you and save Orihime. Hime, there's nothing you can do to stop me. Nothing. You don't understand what despair really is, Ichigo Kurosaki. I will show you exactly what it is. And then he transforms, and all of a sudden, the air feels different. It feels like an ocean, as they say, over the ceiling Las Noches. Everyone can feel that spiritual pressure because there's 2 gaping holes in Las Noches right now. Everyone can feel just, what the hell? And Ichigo's sully, he's wide-eyed. He goes, what is this? My Resurrection. I can't remember the pronunciation of it. It's the Arrancar language shtick, because it's Japanese for the Shinigami. It was German for the Quincy Stirritters. It was just American for the Fullbringers, and it's Spanish for the I think words here for the Arrancars. So I'm just trying to remember the pronunciation for the name. Let's see, Ulquiorra Silver. Where are you, Ulquiorra? Huh? Where are you? Where are you at, my friend? There you are, buddy. All right. So what was the name of it? It begins with an S. It's bugging me that I can't get it. And someone's gonna put it in the comments below, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I found it. I want to say it's Segunda Resurrection or something. It's a Resurrection. What do you mean site can't be reached? Don't give me that crap. Okay, come on. Ulquiorra Schiffer. Come on. There we go. What was the damn resurrections? I mean, his resurrection, I believe it's Spanish for bat. It's Murcielago. And then it's what's his resurrection's secondary? Segunda. I was Segunda Etapa, or second release, more or less, second stage. So yeah, he turns into his demon hellbat form. Now again, in terms of multipliers, it's difficult to say how big of a boost it really was, because he was more or less dominating isn't quite right for his first release. He had the very strong edge against Ichigo in his first release. It wasn't until he transformed that he was literally dominating him, just straight dominating him. And that is what happens here. Maybe to a little bit of a lesser degree, but unfortunately Ichigo is just unable to, he just can't keep up. Literally, he moves so fast that Ichigo couldn't register him disappearing in front of his eyes and hitting it, grabbing it from the back of from the side. And so Ichigo starts getting just wailed on, blasted, and Ulquiorra just says, "Give up! Why don't you give up?" I was like, "I know you're strong. Doesn't matter. I have to defeat you." And he starts powering up his Ryatsu as strong as he can. Goes actually all the way into Super Saiyan 2 and is able to briefly surprise Ulquiorra. Only for Ulquiorra just smack the mask away again, his hair, and basically just choke him out of Super Saiyan form. Uryu does show up to help Orihime. They see Ichigo get blasted. Uryu tries to take on Ulquiorra and fails miserably. Like, he just couldn't take him on. Excuse me. Orihime tries and fails. And then Ichigo obviously awakens. And he awakens very powerful, very primally. I mean, he did in the original too, let's be honest. Just, I've got to save her! And then all of a sudden, you see the energy comes off the Ryatsus, turning a combination of blacks and reds and blues and yellows from the Super Saiyan aura. Just get that. I can't do the modulated sound because it is modulated. And the hair, his orange hair is now white and yellow, going down pretty far. It was like down to his shoulder. It wasn't like straight down to his butt. It's not Super Saiyan 3 long, but it's still long. And it looks almost like he's in Super Saiyan 3 right now. In fact, you can make the argument maybe the Hollow even pushed him to it. Maybe his inner Hollow, Zanbakuto, was able to push him that far. Because you even say they never really specify what it is to get to Super Saiyan 3. With Super Saiyan 2, it's just, that push, that rage boost. With Super Saiyan 3, we know it's training. But the most we get from how to get to Super Saiyan 3 is this next power comes from inside, dig down deep. And if it's probably digging into something primal in nature, whatever. Point being, you get Vasta Lorde and Ichigo just wreaking havoc on Ulquiorra again. When once again, the whole fight goes about the same as it does, with just Ichigo going even more ham on Ulquiorra than he does in the original. This leads us to now the remainder of the Hueco Mundo portion of the fake Karakura Town arc, where Yami shows up. Ichigo does the Hollow Mask again, transforms. In the original, he barely nicked the back of his neck. Here, it's still not that impressive, all things considered, but he is able to do a much deeper stroke, like an actual, not a nick, but an actual gap. Like, if he weren't careful, he could actually, really do some damage to his neck and, open his neck up more. And so, Ichigo is told to just butt out of this. Kenpachi and Byakuya are taking care of Yami. Granted, Zaraki has not gotten the boost he got with Nuatora, but still, I think he'll be fine. And so, Ichigo goes and follows Urahana into the void, into the, it's not the Dangai, the Garganta. What's the best way to put it? He artificially created a Garganta. So the natural occurring one, I guess, if that makes sense. And so then he comes in with Aizen. He doesn't have his mask up, but he does have his Super Saiyan form activated. And it still clashes with Aizen. It just doesn't do a lot. Ichigo then comes in with the finals. We cut to the attack he does against Aizen when Yamamoto it hits him with an Ikatozen. The giant katana-looking energy blade, Kido. And with the mask of Super Saiyan, he does a more lethal strike, but remember, at this point, Aizen has the Hogyoku. Really, Ichigo at this point is he is mostly the same, but he's stronger, but he's disconnected from his true power due to his, where he stands, about who he is, his feelings, all that. He does better against Gin, I would imagine. Definitely he would. Due to being faster, stronger, better reflexes, all that. So he's able to block those strikes a bit more effectively. He's able to rush Gin more, but I still think Gin would be able to keep him at bay, more or less. And so really, you would just get to the final Getsuga Tensho, let me rephrase that. Him and the Don guy getting the final Getsuga Tensho, training for it. Even his Hollow could turn Super, all of his, like, his Zanpakuto Hollow could turn Super Saiyan. So it's still very problematic for him to fight. He gets back, and he's now in a perfected... One of the things he would have probably achieved there is similar to, like, a Hyperbolic Time Chamber, a perfected Super Saiyan form. So he's just constantly in a perfected Super Saiyan 2. And he and Aizen duke it out. Now it's again one-sided. Him and Aizen clash. He uses Mugetsu, but he uses it, and he actually activates the Super Saiyan 3 form while in the Mugetsu final form, and just lays down the law on Aizen, who again would survive it, but I think even barely survives it even more. Like, even though his wounds were still healing up, they were healing up a little slow. Here, he's still bleeding out. Like, it's taking forever for him to heal up. His Zanpakuto is disappearing, and the Hogyokyu does arrest him. And then Urahara comes in and says, "Yep, it'd be impossible to do that to seal you, or kill you. So I decided to seal you away instead." So yeah, that would be the end of Aizen. I had another idea, admittedly, but with Yami still about, I chose to go with the initial what happened in the story where Byakuya and Zaraki stayed back to fight him. Because honestly, my initial idea was to have Zaraki actually follow Ichigo, because he'd be like, "Yeah, they couldn't get a good fight in here. Maybe they're jamming a bit more in the Karakura Town model we got there. At least they'll give me a chance at Aizen." Like, I was considering that, but seeing as Yami wouldn't have been killed yet, yeah, it would make sense that Yami would still be there. There is not much else to say until we go into the Fullbring arc, and I'm going to just keep it short for right now, A, because I'm low on battery, and B, I think that deserves its own video, because that's very different. Because Ichigo, while losing his Shinigami powers, doesn't lose his Saiyan abilities. Which means, even though he can't see spirits anymore, he's still got all the power of a Saiyan behind him. He can't fly, mind you, because he never learned to do that outside of the Shinigami arts. But he can still apparently fire Ki, which he realizes he can do. He can still, or in this case, Ryatsu. He can still, power stuff up. He still has, surprisingly, a large amount of Ryatsu. Not as much now that he's lost his Shinigami powers, but still a shockingly powerful amount of Ryatsu. This also is going to be very interesting when Ginjo, and we know what will happen, will eventually steal his power, because you're also adding, and all the other Fullbringers too, because that's adding Saiyan power into there now, baby. And that is going to make things a little bit more interesting. At least for some of them. Others, not so much. We'll talk about those when we talk about those. But you won't have to wait long for part 6, because that will come on Thursday, because next week is the week of What If. Until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Later.